Hey everybody. So Running Tide, as you may know, went out of business last week. They had raised more than $54 million towards ocean-based carbon removal. And at that scale, the reason companies go out of business, they're not able to raise their next round. It can be partly due to customers and team and traction. All those pieces of a company matter, but fundamentally, the reason a startup of that scale stops is because they don't have money to keep going anymore. So I've talked about Operation Scale Supply. That's the critical funding gap at the seed stage for startup companies, which means their first million or $2 million. But now this is also illustrating there's another gap in funding at the growth stage. So these are companies like Climeworks and Charm Industrial. And this growth stage funding gap is going to become really more important over the next couple of years as companies that have raised their first million, raised their 10 million, and then start to need to go out and raise hundreds of millions of dollars to scale. And without solving this, we're going to see these really promising companies go through those stages and then not be able to hit that next growth stage. So I just imagine, look, if we can make it work, though, these companies are in position to be able to deliver on hundreds of thousands of tons, millions of tons in the near term, in the next couple of years, right? So you've got the company that's already raised the money, they've already got the permits and the pilots in place. They're actually ready to deliver in a way that some earlier stage companies aren't there yet. So it's really important that these companies get the funding they need to actually be able to do delivers. So what I'm imagining is, look, we've got venture capital, we've got growth stage. We can see how those things are working and how they're part of the system, and we need to be able to figure out how to grow that system, right? New innovative ways to enable companies to raise more funds that they need. So we've had people working on leveraging philanthropic capital. We've had people talk about crowdfunding and being able to take investment from many people around the world. We've talked about new approaches to growth investing and growth funding. And this is all across the board, right? This applies to ocean-based carbon, air-based, land-based, rock-based. These are all companies that are, they're at the stage where then they're able to start delivering. And so we have the capacity to remove far more carbon than we ever have before. What's missing in this case isn't the technology. They've built that. It's the funding for larger scale. And that's going to be really key for hitting those 285 million ton uh, amounts like the target from Rocky Mountain Institute for 2030. So we also, of course, need to continue unlocking early stage funding at the same time. And we also really do need to get the message out to stop acting like carbon rule is optional. It's not. So if you have ideas, if you want to contribute to growth stage funding for startup companies, get in touch. I would love to hear about what you see as opportunities to really grow how this thing works.